Am I the whole for choosing a relationship with my extended family over my stepfamily? I, 15M, and my sister, 16F, were raised by a single dad after we lost our mom when we were really young. I was around 4 and my sister had just turned 5. Losing her left a huge hole in our lives, and while I can barely remember her voice, I've always felt this deep connection to her through the people who loved her most, her side of the family. From the very beginning, my mom's family, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins rallied around us. They were there for birthdays, school events, holidays, and just random weekends. They didn't just help raise us. They made sure we felt surrounded by love. My dad used to be close with them too. He'd always say how grateful he was for their help and how they were a blessing after mom passed. But things changed when dad started dating again. At first, my sister and I didn't really know what to think. We were young and just wanted to see our dad happy, but everything started to shift when he got serious with the woman who is now his wife. She had 2 kids from a previous relationship, and we were expected to see them as our new siblings right away. The turning point came when Dad asked if his girlfriend and her kids could be included in family events with Mom's side. My mom's family didn't agree. They were kind about it, but they just couldn't treat someone new like a daughter-in-law or her kids like grandkids. It was too painful, and in their eyes, no one could replace Mom. I don't think they meant any harm, but my dad took it personally. He told them they either accept everyone as family, or they get none of us. He made it clear, if his wife and her kids weren't welcomed with open arms, then he was done. Mom's family didn't back down, and eventually, he cut ties. They had to take him to court just to get visitation with us. Fast forward to now. My sister and I are teens. Over the past few years, we started spending more and more time with our extended family again. We'd hang out with our cousins after school, go on camping trips, have sleepovers at Grandma and Grandpa's, or just stop by for dinner. It felt like home in a way that Dad's house didn't anymore. Not that Dad didn't try, he really did. But there was always this tension, this unspoken rule that we weren't supposed to talk about Mom's family. And when we did, it was followed by lectures. His wife especially couldn't stand it. Anytime we mentioned our cousins or a visit to our grandparents, she'd go cold. She'd remind us that they didn't want us to have a whole family, that they refused to treat her and her kids with respect. Dad would chime in too, saying that family meant embracing change, and that love should be unconditional. But it always felt like we were being guilt-tripped for not forgetting the people who raised us after Mom died. One day, my sister pushed back. She said maybe they needed to accept that Mom's family wasn't trying to hurt anyone, they just didn't want to pretend that Dad moving on didn't matter. That his wife and her kids weren't their family. It didn't go over well. She was grounded for a week. And after that, things just kept piling up. Every time we went to see our grandparents, we'd come home to more tension. Last month, it all came to a head. Dad sat us down and said it was hurting the younger kids, our siblings, to see us spend time with people who didn't accept them. He said we were sending the message that they weren't good enough. Then came the ultimatum. Either we stayed and committed to his new family, or we left to live with someone from Mom's side. My sister didn't even hesitate. She called Grandma and started packing. Dad looked at me and asked if I could at least think about who tried to include everyone and who refused. I told him I understood how much it hurt and I didn't want him to be alone, but I also didn't want to cut off a whole side of my life that reminded me of Mom and felt like home. He asked if I wanted to leave. I said I didn't want to leave him, but I also didn't want to keep pretending that this was okay. His wife cut in, saying that if I really cared, I would have said I didn't want to leave them, not just him. Dad said it had to be my choice. I told him I'd pack my things. We moved into our grandparents' house that night. Since then, he's called a few times. The conversations start out kind of hopeful, like he wants us to come back, but then they spiral. He keeps bringing up how we've divided the family. A few times, I've heard his wife in the background calling us names: traitors, spoiled brats, ungrateful. One time she said I never loved her or her kids because when I left, I said I'd miss Dad, but not her or the others. And the thing is, I do love my dad. I miss him. I think about him all the time. But I also hate that he made us choose. That he couldn't let us love our family without feeling like it was a betrayal. I wish he could have just let things be messy and imperfect. I wish he didn't make our love conditional on accepting people we didn't feel close to. So now I'm stuck. I feel like a jerk for hurting him, but I also feel like I did what I had to do for my own sanity. I didn't want to pick sides, but in the end, he made us. Am I the a-hole for choosing my mom's family over my dad's new one?